ist so, dass Plastik offiziell ein fast inerter Stoff ist. Man sagt, okay, es sind Problemstoffe in den Kunststoffen drinnen, aber die sind ja da festgebunden und dann kommen weder in natürliche Kreisläufe noch in die Nahrungskette noch in den Menschen. Das stimmt alles nicht. Plastik zerfällt im Laufe der Jahre über Hitze, über Abrieb, über Benutzung, über natürlichen Zerfall. Diese Moleküle, die ursprünglich gebunden sind, die werden frei. Also Bestandteile von Kunststoffen kann man überall finden. Sie sind ubiquitär, sie sind persistent und vor allem sie haben die fatale Eigenschaft, dass sie sich in Nahrungsketten anreichern können. Und da ist vor allem die große Substanzgruppe der Phthalate zu nennen, weil sie eben massenhaft in Millionen Tonnen jedes Jahr produziert werden. Das Gefährliche an Plastik ist das Schleichende. Ja? Also Plastik zerfällt langsam. Ja? Also Greenpeace hat aufmerksam gemacht, eine PVC-Windel braucht 200 Jahre, bis sie sich in ihre Restbestandteile tatsächlich zerlegt hat. Aber sie hat 200 Jahre die Chance, Problemstoffe in die Umweltmedien abzugeben. Ja? Diese Stoffe kann man nicht mehr zurückholen. Und die werden zunehmend eben in die ökologischen Kreisläufe eingehen.
Glauben Sie, dass die Kunststoffindustrie das weiß?
Ja, natürlich. Aber sie verdrängt es ja. Die Verdrängungsleistung der Verantwortlichen ist gigantisch.
Dass wir so viel Plastik im Haus haben.
Ich habe da immer dran gerochen und habe das immer ganz toll gefunden.
Haben Sie was riechen können?
Natürlich.
Und war es ein schlechter Plastik? Weil ein Plastik, der richtig fest ist, da sollte man eigentlich nichts riechen, weil das, was man riecht, sind üblicherweise Problemstoffe, weil bei Plastik sollte alles zusammenbleiben, nicht, wenn Sie was riechen. Das heißt, dass aus dem Plastik spezifische Stoffe an Ihre Nasenschleimhaut gedrungen sind und dann war der Plastik eben.
Es gibt auf der Erde keine unberührte Natur mehr.
A chemical manufacturer, thousands of miles from here, is producing the plastic. I've heard sometimes it comes in powder forms, it comes in pellet form. It's shipped then to the bottler, who then takes it and then converts that into a bottle. It's called extrusion. They're extruding the plastic. This producer over here who bought this does not know what's coming to him from the plastic manufacturer, because that plastic manufacturer is telling him, I've got the best plastic there is. You know, it isn't going to discolor, it isn't going to change the taste of your product, nothing will leach out of it, it's perfectly safe. But it's proprietary, I'm not going to tell you what's in it. So this producer over here has no idea what's in the bottle that he's producing. No one knows what is basically in those plastics that make them better than the other product. But we do know now, because there have been some independent researchers who have gone out and paid chemists in independent laboratories to begin to look, that there are certain chemicals coming out of these bottles. I mentioned fire retardants before. Try butyl tin, a very, very potent androgenic chemical that's in the environment. Basically, it makes whelks, female whelks, grow penises. They found TBT, they found bisphenol A. In a lot of the tests that were done, they found the phthalates. Some plastics have the ability to penetrate the body. They get into the cells in the body. Once you scratch a polycarbonate bottle, the scratching then releases a lot of these monomers, and they do become free.
But it's only when you scratch it? Or?
Well, no, age will scratch it. Heat will do it. Detergent, certain detergents, highly alkaline detergent or even an acidic product in the bottles will cause those polymers to begin to break, and they look like they're scratched. You know, I'm sure in the old days, we all used what was called in this country Tupperware, and you could always see through it in the beginning. But as it got older, you know, it got really milky looking and scratched up. Certainly those bottles are definitely releasing some of these plastic components.
Haven't you wished for unspillable containers that wouldn't break? I'm here to show you modern dishes for modern living that will save you time and money. There, did you hear it?
Es gibt auf der Erde keine unberührte Natur mehr.
I'm looking for Scott Belcher. I'm asking myself all the time the question, is plastic now dangerous or is it not? And I thought you are the one who can help me a little bit in this.
I would say I can't answer that question.
Why not?
Because my investigations are much more specific than the question. So, that you asked, because plastics, not plastics, not plastic. You know, my research is focused on a single or a very few types of components that go into plastic. And
Well, especially PPA.
Bisphenol A,
Bisphenol A, which is in all the plastic bottles.
Well,
What else?
it's the polymer of the polycarbonate plastic, and it's also used in the application for coatings and preservatives in rubber and other kinds of plastic. So it's one that's a big industrial chemical that's out big in the sense that I mean that there's a lot of it.
Die amerikanische Wissenschaftlerin Patricia Hunt hatte bei ihren Studien nicht den Kunststoff im Visier, ehe sie auf etwas stieß.
So we used these cages over and over and over again. For years we used the cages, they were fine. And then suddenly we had this change in our data where our control animals started to show us very strange eggs. And we were trying to figure out what was going on, what caused this change. The cages were damaged by one wash, the wrong detergent, and that meant the plastic started to degrade.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean to us? It means that plastics that we use that contain this bisphenol A, the polycarbonate plastics, baby bottles, many of those are polycarbonate, that with repeated use and wash and high temperatures, eventually the plastic will start to degrade, and eventually they'll start to leach more and more of this chemical.
We've shown that if you put water in it, and others have shown it, in polycarbonate plastic, the bisphenol A is released, especially upon heating, if you heat it up.
We eat it, we drink it, we get it passed through our skin.
Hot, very hot.
This chemical mimics a hormone, and hormones they send signals and tell cells to do things. And so those signals sent at the wrong time or in the wrong amount to the fetus can change how that fetus develops. And when you stop and think about it, it's really interesting, because it means the pregnant female is allowing this chemical to simultaneously touch 3 generations: the mother who's exposed, the fetus, and if she's a female fetus, all of her eggs, which will be effectively the grandchildren.
And bisphenol A can cause cell death.
Yeah.
It's changing how our normal hormones are working. Bisphenol A is a chemical that acts like estrogen. Estrogen affects how our brains develop, and changing that estrogen-like activity in the brain, especially while your brain's maturing, can change how your brain functions later in life.
We're used to thinking about toxins as the amount you receive dictates how much damage is going to be done. So more is worse. And in this case, with something that acts like a hormone, that's not true. Hormones act at very, very low levels. Just a little sniff will cause cells to go crazy. So in this case, it's asking questions about how very low levels of a chemical might impact a cell.
Es gibt auf der Erde keine unberührte Natur mehr.